So obviously we're trying to raise awareness of mast cells, and we kind of touched on this. For people listening to your story, what advice would you have? How do they go about getting help? Or, they might be recognizing a lot of their symptoms in what you've said, but is it difficult to get testing? I mean, it sounds like it is, to get help. What would you recommend they do?
It's really challenging as an advocate to know that so many people need help and need doctors, and they're just not available.
Yes.
For me, online communities have been absolutely essential for my physical and mental health. So, for example, when I had a CSF leak and no doctor believed that I could have one without being in a car accident or something like violently traumatic, I was able to connect with other people who had CSF leaks and hear what their experiences were.
Yes.
So for example, my MRI did not show a CSF leak. That happens all the time. So there are much better tests for CSF leaks.
Yes.
And, while other patients can't provide medical advice and shouldn't be telling you which medications you take,
of course,
it can be really valuable in leading you in the right direction and making sure that you ask doctors the correct questions.
Yeah.
And finally, just do not give up. I had a hole in my head for 4 months. It would be so easy to give up, but I had people online that were validating what I was going through, and that helped me continue to pursue healthcare.
Yes. Wow. Yeah. And so now you're at a stage where you understand more about what's going on in your body. How do you manage your symptoms? So what has worked for you? What hasn't worked quite so well? How do you manage?
Every day is different, and mast cell triggers pop up all the time.
Yes.
I can tell you today that I started a medication that helps me with dysautonomia, which is dysfunction of the central nervous system. And I don't have a lot of blood flow to my legs sometimes. So I started this medication that helps me greatly just to be able to stand up and move around.
Right.
But the mast cells in my kidney do not like it. I have interstitial cystitis. Mast cells inflame my urinary tract. And so last night, my kidney hurt so bad that I slept funny. And now the joints in my neck are flaring. So I have hypermobility issues in my neck. So you can just see how the different conditions can kind of play off of each other.
Yes.
And it's really frustrating sometimes. But I think that people with these diseases are some of the greatest problem solvers, and you start to build a toolkit of things that work for you, like medication, different exercises. I like magnesium salt baths or oils, different relaxation techniques, and you build these over time and you just start to rely on them. You also build a support network and different resources, so that if I'm struggling today and I don't have food in the fridge, I can ask for help. Although asking for help is really difficult, I will throw that out there. We all need to learn how to ask for help a little bit more. So
absolutely,
I'm learning, but I mean, I have it affects my entire body. So I have different problems, different days.
Yes.
But avoiding my triggers and avoiding those, movements. I'm not jumping hurdles anymore.
Good. That's probably a good idea.
I also played tuba in the marching band, and let me tell you, my body did not like that.
So
okay.
So you've got a blog which is called Hells, Bells and Mast Cells, and I read a blog post about how you exercise with your condition, and could you tell us a little bit about that, because it was quite unusual, wasn't it? your exercise regime?
Yeah, so I have two wonderful toy poodles.
Yeah.
And one of them is a little more athletic and demanding than the other one.
Right.
And he doesn't care what condition my body is in. He wants to get his exercise.
Of course, yeah.
So I had started training agility, dog agility, where you have these courses with different obstacles. So one of them's like an A-frame where the dog runs way up to like 5 feet and comes back down, a bunch of jumps, tunnels. Yeah. There's a teeter-totter, lots of fun stuff. Yeah. I had started training in that before I got really sick with mast cell activation syndrome, before I knew I had any of these diagnoses.
Yes.
And it brought so much joy to me. I think dogs are a wonderful coping mechanism for any health issue because they bring joy to life and they live in the moment and they don't care if you're ill or disabled. They just want to spend time with you.
Yeah.
So I thought that dog agility was all about having the dog run through the course, but I didn't know it's like very demanding for the human as well. You have to run the course in order, and you have to remember where to go, and you have to direct the dog, and the timing has to be impeccable in order to like show the dog where to go and give the command. And so I started struggling with mast cell activation syndrome and falling downstairs and not being able to lift my arms, and then having these subluxations of my ribs. And it would have been so easy to give up. But at the time, it was the only thing that was really consistently bringing me joy. Oh. Because when I went to the gym with my dog, he was so happy. He was barking. I mean, he's eating treats the whole time, so who wouldn't be happy? But it was just a great escape. And then my dog would also steal treats from other people's bags. So I was making new friends, even though I was in incredible pain and I wouldn't have gone out and meet people otherwise. Yes. You know, these friends turned out to be lifetime friends who, as I got sicker, learned about my disabilities and, you know, switched to fragrance-free products and looked out for me. They knew where my EpiPen was. They knew where my inhaler was.
Yes.
And I started seeing a lot of benefits of the sport for me personally.
Yes.
I don't think everyone would benefit from dog agility, but for me personally, I realized that because it's a high impact sport for the dogs, there are these padded mats that we run on. And so, you know, one of the things I worried about was passing out. And I was like, well, this is the safest place to pass out. I'm surrounded by people and there's cushioned floor. So sounds good to me.
Yeah.
And I learned that I could, you know, accommodate myself by teaching my dog to run further away from me and teaching him how to run with me so that if I couldn't get somewhere at the right time, he could do certain obstacles on his own.
Yes.
It was really empowering because I found ways to adapt instead of just straight quitting.
Yeah.
And then I started finding out I felt better. I felt a little, so I run for like about a minute or two. The course is really short. It's timed. You give it your all for a minute. And sometimes I cannot run another minute after that. It takes everything in my body to do that. Yes. And, you know, I have trouble breathing afterwards. I have hand tremors. I feel like I'm going to throw up sometimes. It has gotten better over time.
Yes.
But then I noticed the next day, I felt a lot better. And I think you speak to this all the time, is that, you know, just having some regular movement can make you feel a lot better. Absolutely. And when you're in pain, you know, you want to lay in bed or you want to lay on the couch and nurse that pain. But my dog makes me move, you know, for a minute. I chase them around for a minute and give it my all, and that's been helping me a lot.